Fellas, we're going to be predicting the next 3 title fights in every UFC weight class. I have done a part 1 to this from heavyweight all the way to welterweight. This video is going to be from lightweight to flyweight. Pretty self-explanatory, to be fair. We're going to be predicting the next 3 title fights. If a title fight has already been announced, obviously we can't predict what the fight's going to be, so we're just going to have to predict the result, which is then going to obviously change what the next 2 fights are going to be. So we're still going to be predicting. But yeah, let me know if you agree with this. This is going to be very controversial, I assume, because I'm going to have to predict 3 different fights. Some people think contenders are going to be winning. Well, I'm basically going to have to predict how contenders are going to do as well. But yeah, predicting the next 3 title fights, starting off with the first UFC division in this video, because I already did a part 1, is lightweight. And I think the first match is going to be Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira 2. I think they've hinted towards this fight happening. There's a lot of talk about Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but I'm pretty sure they're just doing that to give Gaethje a fight, considering he's not going to be fighting for the belt next. They're going to do Makhachev versus Oliveira 2 for the belt, probably in about summer 2024. And I think Islam's going to win. I think Islam's going to finish him, in fact. Do I think it's going to be more competitive than the first fight? Yes, but I still find Islam Makhachev winning that fight. The reason is, Islam just went out there and knocked out Volkanovski. He's one of the most balanced fighters in the UFC. He's nearly an S-tier striker. He's an S-tier wrestler. I just don't see a world where Oliveira wins that fight. I had more confidence before Islam fought Volkanovski. We've seen them fight before. It was total domination everywhere the fight went from Islam. Since they last fought, Oliveira's only win is Beneil Dariush, which was a good finish, to be fair. But I just don't see that translating into a win over Islam. So I think Islam's going to get the win over Charles Oliveira. Then they're going to do Islam Makhachev versus Justin Gaethje 2. Now, Gaethje, he's got 2 options. He can have a weight, because let's be honest, he deserves a title shot. He's the BMF champ. He just beat Justin Poirier by knockout. And before that, he beat Fiziev. So Gaethje can have a wait the entire time. So we could be waiting until late 2024, meaning he's going to have to not be in the octagon for over a year just for a title shot. Or he can have a fight with, I assume it's going to be Max Holloway. And even if he does fight Max Holloway, I just don't think his power that he has at featherweight, or at least his danger on the feet, is going to translate against the lightweights. And I feel like Gaethje would finish Holloway as well. Regardless of what Gaethje does, I really do see him getting a title shot next. So I think they're going to do Islam versus Gaethje, which could be a fun fight, because stylistically, Gaethje's not an easy fight for Islam. He's a wrestler who's an insane striker with heavy hands. And that could be a real problem for Islam. But we've seen Justin Gaethje versus Khabib, and I haven't really seen enough performances against high-level wrestlers against Gaethje recently. The last time he fought a grappler against Oliveira, he was submitted in the first round. So I'm going to have to bet on Islam for that fight. And then once Islam's beat Justin Gaethje, I reckon they're going to do Islam versus Arman Tsarukyan 2. Now, maybe Islam's going to go to 170 and fight for the belt, because I know he wants to fight Leon Edwards for the belt. So maybe if he gets 2 more title defenses, they're going to let him fight at 170. But I feel like Arman Tsarukyan's definitely going to be next in line at lightweight, at least. Because I don't think, even if Islam Makhachev was to beat Leon Edwards, I don't think he's going to start taking over the division. And I just don't think he beats Leon Edwards anyway. So he's going to stay at lightweight, stay the lightweight champ. Arman Tsarukyan's going to beat Beneil Dariush. Now, Arman Tsarukyan's either going to have to wait ages for Justin Gaethje and Islam Makhachev, and even maybe the Oliveira fight. So Arman's going to be waiting for ages, or he can fight another contender. But right now, I think they're going to do Islam versus Arman Tsarukyan 2. I'm not sure how that fight goes right now, because again, I need to see more from them. But that's how I think the lightweight is going to pan out. I think Islam's going to take real good hold of the belt. No one's going to take it off him, at least until maybe the Arman Tsarukyan fight. But again, I need to see more from Arman. He's going to beat Oliveira, beat Gaethje, might go for the 170 belt. I'm not sure, but that's my prediction for the lightweight. Islam's going to have total domination and keep the belt to his side. Featherweight, I think the first fight, I mean, it's already been announced. Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilia Topuria. It's happening at UFC 298, I believe. And I think Volkanovski is going to beat him. Now, a lot of people are saying Ilia Topuria is going to beat him, because Volkanovski's just been knocked out. Ilia Topuria is a hard hitter, he can grapple, and I can understand why you say that, but I've seen Volk at featherweight. You've got to realise it was on 2 weeks' notice against Islam. Volk at featherweight, previous to the Islam fight, you've got to give him respect. He's a beast. What he did to Yair Rodriguez early this year, what he's done to Max Holloway, Brian Ortega, Korean Zombie, all of these contenders, he's dominated featherweight, and no one's even come close to beating him at featherweight besides maybe Max Holloway in the rematch. Ilia Topuria's last win was Josh Emmett, and he was a really dominating performance, I'll give him that. So I do think Ilia Topuria is tough for Volkanovski, but I see Volkanovski walking out that fight with a close decision and retiring. Now, Volkanovski has stated that he's got problems with leaving the sport. I'm not sure if Volkanovski is going to kind of go down the Tony Ferguson route and just refuse to retire, but I think Volkanovski hopefully will retire after he beats Ilia Topuria. Once that fight's happened and the belt is now vacant, Max Holloway should be getting an immediate title shot. I mean, he's literally the best in the division if you take out Volkanovski. And I think they're going to do Max Holloway versus Movsar Evloev. And I think Evloev's going to beat Arnold Allen next year. Now, I really want to say that Evloev could beat Holloway, but again, I need to see him against Arnold Allen. It's too early to say that Evloev is going to beat Max Holloway, so I'm going to have to go on Max Holloway in that fight. They're not going to give Yair Rodriguez a title shot because his last fight he got dominated by Volkanovski. He's going to have to get a win back. They're not going to give Ilia Topuria an immediate title shot after losing a title fight. So the only one that would make sense in the featherweight division to fight Holloway would be Evloev. So I think that fight's going to happen. Right now, I'm going to have to back Holloway to win that fight, although Evloev is different to any of the other contenders. Then they're probably going to do Ilia Topuria versus Yair Rodriguez for a #1 contender fight. I really see Ilia Topuria winning that fight, similar to how Volkanovski beat Yair Rodriguez, to be fair. I've got Topuria winning that fight against Rodriguez, and then finally, they'll do Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria for the featherweight belt, probably around 2025, maybe late 2024, depending on how active the featherweights are, but that's how I see featherweight going. Maybe Volkanovski's not even going to retire. Maybe he's just going to go from Topuria to Evloev. Maybe then a fourth fight with Holloway. But I really do hope Volkanovski retires. He's had a great legacy. He's just been knocked out. So if he gets a win over Topuria, I think he should just call it quits. End it on a high. Maybe they're going to do it on Australia because I know the UFC like going to Australia. But that's how I think featherweight's going to go. Bantamweight. This one was definitely the hardest. Bantamweight, I can see a lot of people disagreeing in this division because this was the hardest to make. The first fight already been announced, O'Malley versus Vera. I've got O'Malley beating Vera. I think O'Malley's going to beat Vera by... I think he could even stop him. I really do. People are going into the fight with the mindset that Vera beat him the first time, so he's obviously going to beat not Holloway, O'Malley the second time. I think O'Malley's improved way more than since Vera. Obviously, Vera's last win was against Pedro Munoz. It was a close fight. O'Malley's just knocked out Sterling. We've also seen Vera get dominated by Corey Sandhagen. I'm just not confident in Vera beating O'Malley, so I'm going to say O'Malley beats Vera. I don't know if it's going to be by finish or stoppage, but it doesn't really matter in this case. I'll predict the fight properly on Fight Week, which is, well, it's in ages away anyway. So, yeah, I've got O'Malley winning that fight. Then, I think it's going to be Sean O'Malley versus Merab. They're probably going to do Merab versus Henry Cejudo in early 2024. And although I know a lot of people are going to be picking Cejudo, I'm going with Merab. Cejudo's already lost kind of comfortably. Not going to say he got dominated or it wasn't exactly a somewhat close fight, but he got beaten by Aljamain Sterling. And I see Merab, when it comes to grappling, a way bigger threat than Aljamain Sterling. Merab's hungry. Well, actually, he's not even that hungry. He didn't even want to fight Sterling, so maybe he's not even that hungry, let's be honest. But Sterling's probably going to move to he's probably going to move to 145 and go to featherweight, leaving Merab to chase the belt. He's going to beat Henry Cejudo. Then they've got no choice. They're not going to want to do this matchup, but then they've got no choice but to do Sean O'Malley versus Merab, and Merab's going to beat him. Merab's going to beat him. He's going to dominate O'Malley. Maybe O'Malley's going to sleep him like he did Sterling, but I just don't see it happening. Merab's cardio is insane. His grappling's insane. He's got such high pressure. And I only think he's going to improve from now on. Maybe Sean O'Malley's going to be able to find a way to beat him like he did with Yan and Sterling, but I just don't see it happening. I've got Merab beating Sean O'Malley. Then I've gone with Merab versus Sandhagen, which was the hardest matchup to make, because if Merab's champ, at first I was thinking maybe Umar Nurmagomedov. Maybe they're going to do Umar Nurmagomedov versus Sandhagen, and the winner can face Merab, but it doesn't really make sense how they were matched the first time. Then Sandhagen gets a win over Rob Font, and then they're going to go back to that matchup. So I think they're either going to give Corey Sandhagen an immediate title shot, but he's going to have to wait absolutely ages, or Sandhagen's just going to beat another contender. Maybe he rematches Marlon Vera. I don't know how many other contenders there is for him to face. Maybe it's a rematch against Sterling. I don't know. There's not really anyone else for Corey Sandhagen to beat because he's beaten so many people. And then they're probably just going to do Sandhagen versus Merab. I'm not sure how that fight goes yet. Again, I need to see more from both of them. But that's how I think Bantamweight's going to pan out. O'Malley's going to get 2 defenses. Then Merab's going to come in, take over. And then if I had to predict the 4th fight in this division, that's when I think Umar Nurmagomedov's going to take over. But for now, I think it's going to go O'Malley Vera, O'Malley Merab, and then Merab Sandhagen. Flyweight. Obviously, we already got announced Pantoja versus Royval at UFC 296 in a couple of weeks' time. I've got Pantoja finishing him. He's he's a big grappling threat, is Pantoja. He's heavy-handed. I just don't think Royval's one of the best in the division. Pantoja's going to go out there, beat another Brandon. After he's finished Brandon Royval, they're either going to... I don't think they're going to give Manel Kape or Kai Kara France a title shot because there's a rivalry brewing there. Neither of them really deserve a title shot. They're going to match them up against each other. Brandon Moreno definitely doesn't deserve another title shot. The amount of title shots that Brandon Moreno's got, he definitely doesn't deserve another one after losing. Even if he gets a win, I still don't think they're going to give Moreno another shot against a guy that's beat him 3 times. The only other person in the division that makes sense is Amir Albazi. They're going to do Alejandro Pantoja versus Amir Albazi, probably for a co-main event of a pay-per-view because neither of them are really pay-per-view stars. They will do Pantoja versus Albazi. Albazi barely beat Kai Kara France. Wasn't even a proper good decision. Pantoja's going to beat Albazi. Then they're going to give the winner of Manel Kape and Kai Kara France to Pantoja. Personally, I think Manel Kape's going to beat Kai Kara France. Kai Kara France hasn't looked good in his last few fights, or at least it hasn't got his way. So I think we're gonna see Pantoja versus Kape 2, and then maybe at this time Moreno's going to be ready for a title shot. But I reckon we're going to do Manel Kape because Manel Kape, he's a star in the flyweight division. He's a promotable star, so they're probably going to do Pantoja versus Manel Kape for the title, and that is how I feel like the next 3 title fights from lightweight to flyweight are. Let me know if you agree. A lot of this was hard to predict because I had to also predict contenders as well, but that's just personally how I think it's going to go. Let me know if you agree, and thank you for watching.